Oh, so hopefully this is working, and we are getting volume. I don't know what this thing here does. It says no volume. And so the counter is counting up, so it looks like the screencast-o-matic is working. And we want to finish this program by making a library of letter blocks. So we're going to make a library of letters. And now these letters are going to stick around forever. There's only going to be one letter A. We don't need a whole bunch of new ones every time we need the letter A. We just need one. And so it's going to be a static, and it's going to be public. So everyone can use it. It's static, which means it sticks around without instances of the classes. We're going to talk about that in about 2 weeks. It is a final. Final means once we set it, it's never going to change. It is a string array, and the name of the string array is letter A. And now we're going to use an initialization list. How many of you have learned what an initialization list is? Nobody. Sort of. So an initialization list is done when you create a new variable. So here we're declaring a new variable called letter A.
Why is this labeled final?
Final means that once I create letter A will never be changeable. So you'll not be able to overwrite letter A, only read from it. So now letter A has 9 strings. In fact, instead of these null strings, what we want to do instead is to grab our string type. So we want to grab these lines of strings here. And we're going to have 9 stars. So this is how a string looks. So let's grab this comments. We're going to paste them down here. This shows what our library of letters looks like. And then we're going to put 9 stars in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we're going to copy and paste 9 of these. So I need to paste 9 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I should have 9 rows. Of 9 stars each. So let's double check to make sure I have the right number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 by 9. That looks correct. And so now I have a letter A, which is full of stars. And I want to turn it to the letter A.
Does that mean you're going to make the whole alphabet?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
You're going to have to make the whole alphabet?
I'm going to have to make the whole alphabet. That is correct. So that's a lot of work. But most of the work is cosmetic. Here, this is called what's called, what do you call it? I forget what it's called. So I'm going to try to change my letters into, it's not working, insert mode, and that doesn't seem to work for me. So I'm just going to have to type over it. So I need to make these as spaces. 1, 2, 3, and get rid of these 3. 1, 2, 3. And let's do 2 here, and 2 here. And there's some way to do insert mode, and I'm trying to figure out how. I managed to find it before. All right, and then on the inside, it's just a 2. Final all by itself?
Yeah.
So there are some default values for the public, right, and static. So final all by itself will not work. I don't know, it might work. Because final and static, if it's out here, should go together. So final will imply static.
All of it's under its public static void.
Public static void string?
No, it has to be, I'm trying to get it where it's underneath the class.
In the class or outside the class?
Inside the class, not outside.
You need it underneath the class itself, so at the top?
It needs to be inside of it.
Has to be in the class.
That's the do thing.
All right. So now here I've made the string letter A, and I need a letter B in order for this case to work. So I'm just going to copy My stars again. Now let's make a blank. So the next letter, public, static, final, string array. Is it capital L letter? Letter B equals and inside, did I do that right? Or is it lowercase letter? It's lowercase. And then I need 9 stars in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Each row of the string array is ended with a comma. I need 9 of those. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The last one does not end in a comma. And I turn this into a B. And I really need that insert to work. I don't know how it works. Delete home, page up, home, end, page up, numlock. I do not know how I got it.
It's near print screen.
It's near print screen.
On your keyboard.
Scroll lock,
It should be
pause,
near
break.
home and delete.
Yeah, but if I press my insert button, nothing happens. Like insert, insert, insert,
Shift
insert.
insert.
Shift insert. Oh, that's not what I want. Undo. Is there an undo here? Undo typing. So it's not shift insert.
I think it might be control. I did it.
Control insert. What I want to do is turn overwrite on, and I don't know how to do that. So there's some way to do overwrite instead of insert. And let's see, toggle, toggle, increment, toggle block selection. No, I don't think that's it. Nope, undo. Oopsie, I need to toggle that block selection again. Nope. There we go, that's a little better. Okay, now I have to do this a slow way to make my B. I want to cut this out. I want to make a little turn here. 3, 1, 0, 1, 3, 1, 0, 0, 1. All right, good enough. That's the back of the B. All right, so that should make my B. I have my A, my B, and so the A and the B should work. Now notice these breaks have red on them. It says unreachable code because of the return, so let's get rid of the breaks.
So why were they there?
Because normally when I do a case statement, I always do a break afterward to isolate the code in the case. If you don't do that and this return were not there, then once you did case A, you'd keep going. And so in a switch, you're going to jump to the case and then run all the code from that case down. And when you hit something that jumps out, you jump out. So generally, I put breaks with each case so I don't run from one case into the next case and get out of each case. So it's just a habit I've got myself into. In this case, that habit didn't work because we never got to the breaks. So now this thing should run, so let's test it. Now I should be able to do blanks and letters. So let's do, enter my initials, A space B. A space B. Okay, what about just A, B straight? Run it again. And we want to do A, B with no space. All right, so it's a little closer together. That's it. It's about the same. So if we notice in my printer, I think they're a little closer together. No, they're not. It's the same. I print a letter, I print 2 spaces, I print another letter, print 2 spaces, print another letter, print the return. And so here the last letter is empty. And there should be 2 spaces in front of it and none behind it. All right, so I got the A and B working. If I put something that's not there yet, oops, it should give me the blank, the empty. So let's see, EMT. So it prints the empty, it's not there. Okay, So I think I have given you all the code you need to do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this. I'm going to annotate my functions. So here, get letter, slash star star. I don't know why it did this. Tab, star slash. Something's weird here. What happened? I'm in a comment, I guess. And this one is get letter, gets the user's choice letter, finds out if it is indeed a letter, capitalizes it, and then finds the right graphic from the library. And before that, we have get empty letter. I don't know where I am at. Let's see.
I just click into it and it comes up. Oh my god. I figured I get over it.
Slash star, tab, star slash. There we go. This one is called get empty letter. And it returns a full letter graphic of empty strings, capital S strings. And everything else is annotated. So what I'm going to do for you all is I'm going to cut out all my code and just give you the comments. So hopefully you followed along and you figured out what we're doing. And if you haven't, then hopefully the comments will help you. So I'm going to do one slow pass. And then I'm going to copy this. I see someone's ready with their phone. And I'm going to copy this, cut out all the code, and give you the comments. Are you ready? So we'll just walk through the slow path.
You should just like lower it.
Lower it slowly. Okay, here we go.
And then after that, you can go.
All right, so let me talk. Big initials demo. Big initials demo is going to ask the user to enter 3 initials, and then it's going to print them in big block letters. So at the very start, we have a static final int, which tells us how many rows are in our graphics. Each graphic is going to have 9 rows of strings. Then we have our main, and the main is the very guts or the very core of our program. Main has the framework for the program, and this just has 2 steps. The first step is get 3 initials. This will ask the user for initials, and it grabs them from the user, and it puts them in the string variable called initials. Then the second step for main is to print them. So you get the initials and you print them. What could be simpler than that? And to do that, we call 2 functions. One's called get 3 initials. It does what it seems to do. And we have print 3 big initials. That does what it seems to do. So how do we get 3 initials? This is the next step. First, we're going to accept the 3 initials from the user. Now, you've done getting lines from the user. In order to do that, we're going to use the scanner. I know in the textbook, he's using his own text I/O, but because text I/O is non-standard, we're going to be using the scanner in this course. So that we use the scanner will get a line of text from the user, and so the user is going to type a line of text. Then we're going to find the first 3 initials, first 3 letters of that line. In order to do that, we prompt the user before we get a line of text. Then we do next line from the scanner, and we make a substring of the first 3 letters, assuming it has first 3. If it has less letters, we only get how many they gave us. So we need to find out how many letters the user gave us. I spelled letters wrong. I put an extra T in there. And we pass the substring to the printer. So that's all get 3 initials does. It returns 3 letters off the front of a user's string. And so the code's down here. Then we need to print them in big block letters. So what is a big block letter? What does that mean? You can make a 2-dimensional array of characters, or you can make a 1-dimensional array of strings. And since the strings are much easier to use than a 2-dimensional array of characters, which I haven't taught you about yet, we're going to use an array of strings. So how many strings are we going to use? We're going to have 9 rows of strings, so 9 strings, and each string is going to have 9 characters. So what's it say over here? So it's 9 strings in the array of strings. That's on line 78. So then we have a graphic of what it's looking like. I put a star in for each of the characters. So we see a block that is 9 stars wide by 9 rows of stars tall. In order for this function to work, this is the print big block letters. We need to look at each letter from the initials that the user gave us. Find the letter in our library of letter graphics, look up that letter's graphic, remember that letter's graphic, and then we're going to print. When we print, we know that these letters, each letter block has 9 different rows, and the system.print only prints 1 row at a time. So we need to remember each letter that we're going to print, letter array that we're going to print, and print 1 row from each letter at a time. So we look at each letter of the initial substring, print each row of the 3 letters. We're going to print letter 1, row 1, then letter 2, row 2, then letter 3, row 3. Actually, this is wrong. We're going to print letter 2, row 1, and letter 3, row 1 the first time. Then we can go to the next row and print the next row. So each row, we're going to print letter 1 and that row. So then we see the code, and we'll just sort of scroll through the code. The code does what I want it to do because of the comments. But the code has to do 2 things that we haven't figured out how to do yet. We need to get empty letters so that if the user doesn't have a letter, we print our empty letter instead. And we need to get the letter given what the user gives us. We don't have these functions yet, so we need to get empty letter function, and we need to get letter function. So we've made print big 3 initials, and we have some functions in print 3 initials that don't work. This is, again, top-down programming. Here we have a function, and all it needs to do is get the letters and print them row by row. And it does that, but it uses functions to get the letter. So all the code in get the letter is hidden somewhere else, and all the code in get empty letter is hidden somewhere else. But we don't have to care about that here in this function. So now we do get empty letter. So get empty letter does what we want it to do. It returns a full letter graphic, which is 9 strings, an array of 9 strings. And these are empty strings. So we make an array of 9 strings here using the numRows graphic. And then for each string in that row, we set it to be an empty string. So now we have an array of 9 empty strings. That's get empty letter. The last one to do, the last function to do is get letter. And get letter gets the user's choice letter. So the user's choice letter comes in as a parameter. Finds out if it is indeed a letter. And if it is indeed a letter, it's going to capitalize it and then find the right graphic from the library. So here we see the code. We set the return letter to be an empty letter. So if the user gives us garbage, we give an empty letter instead, and we return that return letter. We look for the user's letter, and we make it an uppercase letter, and then we check to see if it's alphabetic. So if it's one of the letters and not a number or a weird symbol, then we're going to actually use it. So we have an if statement for that. To use it, we switch on that letter, and there are 26 letters to do. I've only done 2 of them here. And we just go to the library and return the letter. So I'm calling in the library a variable with the letter's name. So letter A is going to be the graphic for the A letter, and letter B is going to be graphic for the B letter, and so on. And then the last thing we just need our library of letters. And the library of letters is just going to have these graphic, one for each letter. To make each graphic, we need the announce it, so it's a public static final. Public means anyone can use this, so we can go and look up the letters even if you don't use them. Static means it always exists in this class. Final means that once you set its values, the values can never change. String array tells us what type it is. It's an array of strings. It's an array of, in fact, 9 strings. And the name of the function, the name of the variable is called letter A. We use an initialization list by assigning a value to this right away. And this is the only way we can change the value of a final. So all finals must use some kind of initialization list. Here we make a graphic for the A. And we see 9 rows of 9 characters each, so we have 9 strings. Each string in this array is separated from the next string by a comma. The last string does not need to have a comma. We have letter B, and so on. Let me get rid of this blank space at the end, and we will put an and so on here, and that is it. And so on. Okay, dokie. That's it for the preview, and it's up to you guys now to make this work. Clunk. So you guys are finishing, if I can find my activity. Nope. Nope, nope. Where are you? Here we go. Nope, that's not it. Where is it?
I responded to it. Yeah, but you only got one.
I don't have it. That's weird. And so this concludes the demo. Let me stop it.